Hello, welcome back to another video. We are going to be looking today at the roles of the president. So whenever you think of the president of the United States, you probably don't think of all of the different roles he has or all of the different hats he wears, so to speak. So we're going to iron those out today. First of all, the president is the head of state, and as head of state, he is responsible for basically representing the United States throughout the world, okay? So when people in other countries think of the United States, one of the first things that they're going to think of is our president. That's the first image that's going to pop into their minds, okay? So as head of state, he's responsible for representing the United States all around the world. So anytime he visits a different country or hosts visiting diplomats, a diplomat is somebody from another country, like from their government, he is acting as the head of state, okay? Next, he is the chief executive. We know that the executive branch enforces the laws. Yes, it does. His job here is to execute the laws. So if Congress passes a law, he signs it, and his job is to, through all of these different executive agencies that he has, make sure that those laws are carried out, okay? So for example, if there is an education law passed by Congress, the Department of Education, which is under the executive branch umbrella, would be responsible for making sure that law is carried out. Executing the laws, chief executive. Also, in this specific part, he can pardon, reprieve, and grant amnesty to people who request it. So a pardon, this is one of your vocabulary terms. A pardon is a full release from punishment. Okay, so if you ask for a pardon, that means, hey, I've probably done something wrong. I'm probably going to be charged. I'm probably going to be punished for it. But if the president grants you a pardon, it's like it's totally gone. You're totally released from any punishment. Okay, then you've got a reprieve, and a reprieve isn't quite as popular. But if you are granted a reprieve, that means that you are your punishment is postponed. So maybe you were supposed to report for your punishment on March 15th, and you're granted a reprieve so you can watch March Madness. And then you have to show up after the national championship game, whatever. Amnesty is a group pardon. So amnesty is something that is granted to a group of individuals. A common example for amnesty is people who dodged the draft during Vietnam, who went to another country so they didn't have to go to war. Some of them came back during the late 70s and early 80s, and they were granted amnesty or a pardon for dodging the draft, which is kind of a big no-no. Chief Legislator. As Chief Legislator, the president namely proposes legislation, proposes ideas for laws. So whenever the president is elected, he has this big agenda that he wants to push through, and he proposes those ideas to Congress. He also, and we already know this, he has the power of the veto. So if he doesn't like something that Congress presents to him, he can veto that bill, and then the bill goes back to Congress, and they can either override it or scrap it and try again. Another role is that of the economic planner. And whenever we think of the word economics, you should think of money, okay, or the economy. So as the economic planner, every year the president proposes a budget to Congress and says, here's what I want to do. Here's all of the stuff that's going to cost. Here's all of the money it's going to cost. Please pass it. And hopefully we can have a budget that works in, the positive for the people. He's also the commander-in-chief for the American military. He, along with his advisors, the Joint Chiefs of Staff or the Secretary of Defense, they work together to devise military strategy. He is also the party leader, no, not woohoo party, but his political party. So as the president of the United States, this person is responsible for trying to push through their party's agenda, okay? Next, we've got his role as chief diplomat. And as chief diplomat, he works to encourage people around the world to adopt different American ideas through foreign policy. And he also, I'm going to get rid of that. There you go. He also has the ability to create treaties. Of course, those treaties are agreements with the heads of other foreign nations, but they have to be approved by the Senate. That's all for this video. If you have any questions, let me know.